Hello and welcome movie fans to Cinema RoundUp, where we review and discuss films. This is a film review avoiding any major plot points and spoilers. My name is David, and today we are reviewing Kingsman: The Golden Circle. This is a sequel to 2014's surprise hit, Kingsman: The Secret Service. This time around, the remaining Kingsman agents must travel to the US of A to enlist help from their US counterparts, the Statesman, in order to find out who was behind the attacks that destroyed their headquarters. The movie is a really entertaining, crazy, and funny film. If you didn't see the first film, you'll be okay going into this one. There are some jokes and callbacks that you may benefit from having seen the first one, but it's not necessary. The film starts off at full speed. It's actually a little jarring. You get the opening credits and you jump right into an action scene. However, after the opening scene, the film kind of falters for the next 30 to 45 minutes, trying to find itself. But once you get past that first few minutes, this turns into the fun popcorn film you're promised in the trailers. It's energetic, it's funny, it's eccentric, and it's just fun. There's humor in the action scenes. The Statesmen have both dumb and funny code names that poke fun at the seriousness secret organizations in film use, with names like Whiskey for a Latin American agent, Tequila for a white agent, Champagne for the boss, and Ginger Ale for Halle Berry's character, who should have really been called Whiskey. The action scenes are as creative as the first film. However, this is something that was done in the first film and has become a pretty common effect in recent years, but they do this jarring effect to make several shots appear as if they were done in either an entire long take or several long takes. It's very apparent as the speed of the camera movement speeds up really quickly, the point in which the separate shots were spliced together, and then returns to normal. This isn't a big issue, but some of the action scenes rely heavily on it, and it does become a bit disorienting. Now, there is much more humor in this film than the previous film. It's not constant like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but there's definitely something humorous going on every couple of minutes. Also, where Guardians had its characters turn into two-dimensional caricatures of themselves, Kingsman still retains their spirit and charm. However, the overall premise becomes much more campy, particularly with the Statesman. The Kingsmen had their weapons disguised as common items that a proper Englishman would likely have. The Statesmen have their weapons disguised as anything that's part of American culture, like a baseball bat that works as a landmine detector, a baseball that's a hand grenade. It's funny, but the practicality feels like they went out of their way to take popular American items and see what weapons they can make it into, rather than using American items to hide a weapon. Now, the film brings together the Kingsmen and the Statesmen, but this is still a Kingsman movie, and as such, it focuses on the Kingsmen. You see a lot of Statesmen in the trailers, but they're just assisting the operation. Someone you don't really see much of in the trailer is Pedro Pascal of Narcos fame, the Statesman that receives the most screen time and bigger role. Of course, he isn't as big of a name as Channing Tatum, so it's understandable why the marketing would choose one over the other. Halle Berry also receives a lot of screen time with some interesting deliveries and characterization. It's not bad, and it kind of goes with the film, but part of me wonders how much of it was intentional. Taron Egerton plays Eggsy once again, still foul-mouthed, but a bit more suave and gentlemanly. He's in a relationship with the princess he saved in the last film, and their relationship has some effects on his work. There's not much to his character other than that, but you don't really need there to be. He's a spy. He goes on missions, and that's his life. Then there's Colin Firth's character, which, if you've seen the trailer and first movie, you know what happens. Quite frankly, his storyline is really unnecessary and bogs down the film. I think there might have been more room for character growth from Eggsy had the film not spent time on Firth's character. Firth does do a good job, though. Of course, Mark Strong delivers a pretty good performance as well. Honestly, his character is probably the most endearing of them all. He's not as crass as Eggsy's character, and not all that proper as Colin Firth's character. He's kind of the everyman, but better. Then, there's the villain, Poppy, played by Julianne Moore. Samuel L. Jackson played a slightly quirky villain last film. and it fit the film because the film had some quirks. But Julianne Moore's villain is just a caricature. The way she's portrayed is way over the top. The "I'm gonna talk real gently with a smile while I kill you" kind of villain. It's really cheesy. I understand this was supposed to be the type of supervillain that's straight up crazy, that isn't aggressive because the calmness is a bit more eerie, but it just felt slightly out of place with the film. Keep in mind there are electrical lassos and baseball grenades in the film, and that character still felt out of place. Though I will say, her motives and her logic, you don't 100% agree with, but you understand how if you view it from her perspective, it isn't totally 100% wrong. With all this said, Kingsman: The Golden Circle earns itself an 8. The film doesn't take itself too seriously, and it dives deeper into the humor of the first film. It's a fun film that delivers on what it intended to. It may be hindered by the high expectations its predecessor set, but Kingsman: The Golden Circle will deliver on the fun and entertainment. Alright everyone, that's all I have to say about that. I hope you enjoyed this review and found it insightful. Are you still interested in seeing this film? Have you lost interest? If you have seen it, what did you think of the film? Join the film discussion below and engage someone in a conversation. Please, be considerate of everyone, especially those that haven't seen this film, and avoid any spoilers. I want to thank you for making it this far into the video, and I hope you consider subscribing to stay updated on all our future uploads. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time at the theaters.